Welcome to StarWatch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Have you ever seen a moment so powerful it redefines what fashion truly means? When Wang Yibo stepped onto the Paris runway, under the golden lights of Loewe's latest show, time seemed to pause. And when Robert Wen, one of China's most celebrated haute couture designers, spoke about that moment, the entire fashion world listened. Because this wasn't just about fabric, color, or design. It was about a man who turned fashion into emotion. Welcome to StarWatch Now, where we bring you stories that inspire, stories that remind us that art, courage, and individuality still matter. Robert Wen, one of China's most visionary haute couture designers, painted an image of that Paris evening with the precision of an artist describing his masterpiece. He spoke of Wang Yibo's appearance at Loewe's show not merely as a fashion moment, but as a scene of emotional evolution. Beneath the golden lights of Paris Fashion Week, the atmosphere was charged with curiosity. The audience unsure of what to expect from Loewe's new creative direction. When Wang Yibo emerged, dressed in an ensemble of sharp contrasts, vivid crimson against deep emerald, structured forms melting into fluid lines, the room fell silent. It was as though he carried both chaos and calm in a single motion. Robert Wen recalled how Jonathan Anderson, Loewe's creative director, had redefined boundaries this season. He was not chasing trends, he was rewriting language. The decision to fuse daring colors and asymmetric shapes had sparked debate among critics who saw rebellion where others saw revelation. Yet, for Wen, this collection represented something far deeper, the courage to confront balance through imbalance. He believed that true art begins where comfort ends, and in that sense, Wang Yibo embodied the spirit of the design perfectly. Wen described Yibo's presence as magnetic but unforced, a quiet storm that drew attention without asking for it. It takes more than beauty to wear risk, he said. It takes self-awareness. The designer saw in Yibo a rare duality, the confidence of youth intertwined with the introspection of an old soul. On that runway, Yibo did not simply model clothes. He translated the unspoken language of the collection. Each step felt deliberate, each glance layered with meaning. As Wen watched from the audience, he realized that what made the moment unforgettable was not the garment itself, but the conversation it sparked between body and fabric, between artist and observer. It was a collision of worlds, East and West, modern and timeless, instinct and discipline, balanced delicately within a single silhouette. In that instant, Robert Wen saw what fashion could become. Not decoration, but dialogue. Not performance, but poetry. Wang Yibo had not just worn Loewe, he had redefined it. Robert Wen reflected on Wang Yibo's presence that evening as something beyond performance. It was transformation made visible. For years, the world had known Yibo as the precise dancer, the focused racer, the disciplined actor. Yet on that runway he revealed another dimension entirely. Beneath the bold color blocking and sculptural lines, Wen sensed a quiet metamorphosis. The moment when confidence shifts from something worn to something lived. It was not rebellion, he thought, but revelation. The unveiling of a man who had learned to speak through stillness. The collection itself was daring, almost confrontational in its contrasts. Yet within that clash of hues and fabrics, Yibo moved with remarkable ease. To Wen, this was the essence of artistry, the ability to harmonize contradiction. He compared it to the philosophy behind traditional Chinese calligraphy, where every stroke must balance intention with spontaneity. True mastery, Wen once said, lies in knowing when to let control go. Watching Yibo glide down the runway, he saw that lesson embodied. There was restraint in his posture, precision in every turn, yet an unmistakable freedom radiated through him, as though he had surrendered himself completely to the language of the design. The audience felt it too. Cameras clicked, yet no flash could capture the subtleties of that transformation, the shift from performer to creator, from subject to storyteller. Wen noticed that even in silence, Yibo commanded the space. He was not performing for approval, he was conversing with the moment. It reminded one of the paradox at the heart of fashion. that the most powerful statements are often whispered, not shouted. In the following days, critics would describe the look as experimental, even polarizing, but for Robert Wen, it symbolized a rare truth. He saw in Yibo a man unafraid of uncertainty, one who understood that beauty often emerges from tension. It was the kind of courage that defines art, the willingness to walk into unfamiliar territory and let it reshape you. As Wen later wrote in his journal, he did not wear the garment, he became its meaning. And in that instant, Wang Yibo transcended fashion itself, transforming the runway into a meditation on identity, vulnerability, and the quiet strength of being unapologetically oneself. Before the lights rose and the cameras turned, there was a moment of stillness backstage that few would ever witness. Robert Wen later described it as the quiet before a symphony, a sacred pause where emotion and artistry align. Wang Yibo, unlike many who treat the runway as performance, approached the garment as though it carried a story that needed to be understood, not displayed. He spent hours studying its every fold and contour, the rhythm of its fabric, the way it responded to light and movement. It was not vanity, when observed, but reverence. Yibo was searching for the soul within the design, hoping to listen before he spoke. To Wen, this was what separated artists from models, the ability to inhabit an idea rather than merely wear it. He recalled watching Yibo run his hand gently across the material, feeling its weight, its temperature, its pulse. He treats fabric as dialogue, Wen said. It's as if he knows the cloth remembers the designer's heartbeat. That empathy transformed the garment into something alive. When Yibo finally stepped onto the runway, Wen felt that he was witnessing not an act of fashion, but a conversation between creation and interpreter, between silence and sound. There was a discipline in Yibo's movements, reminiscent of the precision of a professional racer preparing for the start line. Yet behind that control lay immense sensitivity. He didn't project emotion, he channeled it. Every subtle gesture carried intention. A tilt of the head, a fleeting pause, a quiet exhale. The more Wen watched, the more he realized that what made Yibo magnetic was not extravagance but sincerity. The performance wasn't about commanding attention. It was about surrendering to authenticity. When the final spotlight dimmed, Wen remained motionless, overcome by the intimacy of what he had seen. The emotion behind the fabric lingered long after Yibo left the stage, like the echo of a song that refuses to fade. Wen later wrote, he didn't wear the garment to be seen. He wore it to make others feel. In that single sentence, he captured the essence of art itself, the rare power to transform craft into emotion, and to remind the world that the most profound beauty is always born from empathy. Robert Wen concluded with words that left many in awe. Fashion should not follow rules, it should start conversations. He praised Wang Yibo for embodying that principle, saying, when Yibo wears something, it's not about being trendy, it's about truth. He represents a generation that isn't afraid to experiment, to fail, to rise again. This is why so many young people across Asia, Europe, and beyond relate to him. They see in Yibo not just a celebrity, but a mirror, someone who dares to explore, question, and evolve. As Robert Wen put it, he makes imperfection look divine. That's art. What makes this story special isn't the fashion. It's the philosophy behind it. Wang Yibo's journey reminds us that being different is not defiance. It's discovery. Every color, every stitch, every step on that runway was a message to those still hiding their true selves. Be bold. Be honest. Be you. And maybe that's the reason this moment resonated with millions. Because deep down, we all want to find that one space where we can finally be seen, not for who the world expects us to be, but for who we truly are. Thank you for watching StarWatch Now, where art meets emotion, and stories breathe beyond the screen. If this story inspired you, please like, comment, and subscribe to join our community of dreamers and believers. Every week, we bring you the unseen stories of Asia's brightest stars and the truths behind the glittering lights of fame. Until next time, sparkle, stay inspired, stay curious, and remember, style is not what you wear, it's what you dare to express.